Hey guys, welcome back to the Time to Watch channel. I hope you're all doing well. It has been some time since I posted my last video, so I'm very excited to have another unboxing and review for you guys today. So we're gonna jump straight into it. We have the Omega white cardboard outer box here with the Omega logo and branding at the bottom. So let's just slip off the top cover, and then we see the main watch box, that beautiful Omega wooden watch box. But before we look at that, we'll just check out the contents here. We have the operating instruction manual. I'm just going to set that aside, as well as the leather card holder, again with the Omega branding here and on the back as well. So we have 3 cards for this particular watch: the international warranty, the master chronometer certification, as well as the pictograms card. Put these to the side as well so that we can focus more on this beautiful watch box. So this is actually my first wooden Omega watch box. I have another Speedmaster, but that one, as you guys know, comes in a different type of presentation box. So again, we have the Omega logo at the bottom, and we have a beautiful silver push button here to open the box. I'm not sure if you guys can see the design on the button. It's basically like a globe icon in the middle, and it says since 1848 at the top and Swiss made at the bottom. I'll just zoom back out and let's check out the box. So there has been a slight update to this Omega wooden watch box. Previously, I think it was around the mid of 2022. Prior to that, they were still using the glossy finish, whereas this one is more of a matte finish. And the reason for that, I believe, was that I heard the glossy finish one, after some time, it actually started to peel off. So I think that's one of the main reasons why they updated it. And inside, there also is another slight update. Let's just open it up and take a look at the watch for now. So there it is, the Omega Constellation Globemaster annual calendar. Let me just zoom in slightly. And yeah, the interior here, as we can see, we have the red Omega branding at the top here, and a lot of soft material all around. So if you keep the watch in this box, it's going to be very well protected. And the update I mentioned just now is that now it comes in this beautiful red travel box, I should say. So this can be closed up. Let me just do that right now to show you. So these 2 sides actually fold up, and this buckle here can be snapped shut, so you're able to travel with your watch safely protected like this. And I think this is a very good update to the watch box itself. So now let's take a closer look at the watch itself. So as I mentioned just now, this is the Omega Constellation Globemaster annual calendar. The reference number for this particular model is 130-33-41-22-10-001. Now this watch has a case diameter of 41 millimeters, a thickness of 14.9 millimeters. The lug-to-lug distance is 50.1 millimeters, and because it is on a leather strap, the weight is fairly light. It is only 112 grams. It has a water resistance of 100 meters. The crystal is a domed sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating on both sides, and the dial is a beautiful sunburst olive green, which is a relatively new dial color for this specific model that was introduced back in December 2021. So this model itself was first introduced back in 2015, and the steel versions at that time only came in black, white, and slate colored dials. The black one has been discontinued. Right now, you'll be able to find the steel versions of this watch in this color, the olive green, as well as the white and slate. So let's take a closer look at the other details on the dial. So the first Constellation model, introduced in 1952, featured the pie pan dial design, which is what we have here as well, right in the center of the dial. I'm sure you guys can see that. And I think that really adds a lot of character and identity to this watch. And Omega having placed the month indicators between the hour markers here, as you can see, Jan, Feb, March, and so on, I find that really enhances the overall look of the pie pan design. I also really love the font style that Omega has chosen for the months. It gives off a very vintage feel, and that's something I find very appealing and in coherence with the overall design language of the watch. The date window, located at the 6 o'clock, is stepped and comes with a matching date disc color as the dial. So awesome job by Omega for this attention to detail. The Omega logo at the 12 o'clock, the Constellation star at the 6 o'clock, the hour indexes, as well as the hands are all 18 karat white gold to prevent oxidation and tarnishing over time. The indexes, the hour hand, and the minute hand are filled with superluminova, and we will have a Lume shot later on. Another design element that I absolutely love is the fluted bezel, which is made of tungsten carbide. Now, tungsten carbide, being the second hardest mineral in the world, makes this bezel incredibly scratch resistant. Again, great job to Omega for being creative and practical in their choice of materials used. Also, you will notice that the fluting on this bezel is much narrower than what we see on Rolex fluted bezels. So the color tone of the tungsten carbide coupled with the narrower fluting results in a very different visual experience when looking at this watch under bright light as compared to the Rolex fluted bezel models. The case is almost entirely brushed except for these polished bevels that run across the top here and here. So the bevels actually give the watch some contrast and make it look a little bit more elegant in my opinion. Next, let's take a look at the movement. So we'll turn the watch around and we have a display case back, obviously. And here we have the Omega manufacturer caliber 8922, which has the master chronometer certification, meaning that it will run within a range of 0 to +5 seconds per day. It beats away at 3.5 Hz or 25,200 vibrations per hour, and that is the master coaxial specific beat rate. It has a bi-directional winding rotor and a power reserve of 55 hours. It is also anti-magnetic up to 15,000 Gauss. At the center, we have the medallion showing the Geneva Observatory and the 8 stars, which represent the 2 chronometer world records and the 6 first place awards that Omega achieved between the years of 1933 to 1952. And having this on the case back just reminds us of how significant the Constellation line is to Omega. Now the crown is a push-pull crown with a fairly pronounced knurling, so it is pretty easy to grip and wind. However, I must admit that the winding action for this piece in terms of the tactile feedback or the winding sound are not all that obvious, so I would not consider it a very satisfying experience winding this watch. That being said, the date and month change action on the other hand is really good. Pulling the crown out one step allows you to quick set both the date and the month, so turning the crown clockwise in this position changes the date, and counterclockwise advances the month, as you can see by that needle moving from July to September. So what I mentioned earlier is that the tactile feedback you get when advancing the date and the month is really solid and crisp and just really satisfying. You have to try it out for yourself to know what I mean. But it really lets you know that the quality you're getting with this piece is just incredible. And of course, pulling the crown out one more step allows you to set the time. So I can advance the time just by turning it counterclockwise, and I can turn it backwards by rotating the crown clockwise in this position. So this being an annual calendar, you only need to adjust it once per year on the 1st of March because it does not know how many days February has, but it will be able to recognize all the other 30 and 31-day months. So I'll just demonstrate how the date changes for a 30-day month. So for example, now we are at 30th of September at 11:18 a.m. So I'll just let the date change by advancing the time past 12 a.m. So that's 12 p.m. I'll just rotate it one more round. And you will be able to see the date jump to 1st of October as the time passes 12 a.m. So I'll just bring it a little bit closer, make sure that the camera is in focus, and let's check out the movement of the annual calendar function. Right there, so you can see that now the needle that indicates the month has jumped to October and the date has jumped to the 1st. So it's now the 1st of October. So this is the function of the annual calendar, which I think is really cool and practical as well. Next, let's check out the strap. So the strap features a large rectangular scale alligator leather on the top side and calf skin at the bottom. And the color of the strap is a very dark green, considerably darker than the dial, as you can see for yourself here. which I think is a brilliant choice as it makes the dial a lot more outstanding. Another thing that I really love is that the excess strap actually tucks underneath here, so when the watch is on the wrist, you don't see the excess length of the strap and you don't need the extra loops here to hold it in place, giving it a much cleaner look and more convenient wearing experience. And the clasp has a twin trigger release right here, and it is signed with the Omega logo right here. So now let's check out how the watch looks on the wrist. So here is the Globemaster annual calendar on the wrist, and I actually think it wears very well on my wrist, which is 6.75 inches or 17 centimeters because of the relatively short lug to lug. The 41mm case definitely gives this watch a lot of wrist presence, and from this angle, what I noticed is that it does not look or feel as thick as the measurement would suggest. I believe that it's because a fair amount of the 14.9mm thickness comes from the domed sapphire crystal, so the case itself is probably only 13 to 13.5mm thick, which I guess most of us would find very acceptable. And the leather strap, of course, feels very comfortable as well. So next we're gonna kill the lights and check out how well the lume on this piece performs. So as we can see, once it is fully charged up, the lume on this piece is very bright and it glows with a blue tone, which I think is very beautiful as well. So that's it for the review. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. There will be some shots and clips of the watch coming up next, so I hope you guys like that as well. If you found this video entertaining and informative, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate that, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!